What's up, everybody? It's your girl Vanity V, and you know why I'm here. The hottest. Let me tell you this SWV and Xscape show is the hottest show on right now. Like, I'm so happy that they're having such good ratings and people are being so receptive to the show just because they are two iconic groups. And Xscape's last show was so good, so I'm so happy. I mean, this is everyone's talking about it. And then in addition to that, it has been like a whirlwind week with all of this like gossip that's been going on with Tamar and Candy, and then you got Latocha dropping her little week video, which was heavily edited, and you know Rocky was like in the background with his little banner and stuff telling Latocha what to do, but then she dropped that like shading Candy and you know her sister, whatever. And then you got the drama with Rocky and the mistress, and then the interview he did with Tasha K, which Rocky stopped speaking. Like, just don't ever talk again. Like, we don't ever need to hear from you again. Like, I don't know if you realize how bad you are making this every time you open your mouth. So you did that interview and you look worse. So he did that interview. The mistress did an interview with Tasha K, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's so much stuff that has happened. So I was really excited, you know, to get all the backstory that kind of like gives us the build up to this episode that came on last night. And that's not even including the drama that's going on with SWV and Xscape. So, but yeah, let's jump right into it. I don't want to do a whole bunch of small talk. Let's just get right into it. Okay, so the episode starts and Taj and Coco are at the gym working out, which I thought it was hilarious because they both have full face of makeup on, which I feel like all the reality girls, when they go to the gym, they don't really be working out. They just go there to like gossip. Cause like, you know, they were doing planks and stuff, and then you could see like the makeup line, and Coco's hair was like lifting a little bit, but it was cute. So they was working out, and I love how expressive Taj is. Taj, in every single episode, whenever she has her scenes, I feel like she's super honest. She's like an open book. She talks about all of her experiences. And I love how in this scene, she was talking about her experiences with Coco and how they've come such a long way from when they were young. She was saying that, like, we know Coco historically has had a really big ego, right? Like, and I guess I get it. Like, she has a beautiful voice. She was the lead singer of one of the biggest R&B girl groups ever. And she did most of the vocals on her song. So I guess I get the ego again a little bit, but she was just saying that like, dang, you know, we have really come like a long way from when we were younger. She says they're much closer, they're getting along, and when they have problems, that they are so much better at working them out. So I'm really happy to see that, because in the previous show that SWV had, they were like bumping heads a lot, and you could see that a lot of the trauma and things that they had gone through as a group when they were younger had manifested into, you know, some of their adult life, but they were able to overcome it, and they're in a much better place. So that was great. That's what Taj was talking to Coco about. So they you know, brought up the other night when the girls all met with Xscape, and you know, Coco was like, I am not doing it. Like, if we can't come to an agreement on this, you know, her and Taj both said like, look, you know, I'm not doing it unless we're co-headlining. So again, you know, I have previously in some of my other videos expressed my thoughts on, you know, the co-headlining thing. Again, if you're just going based off strictly music, you know, I do agree they should either co-headline, or probably SWV should be the headliner. But things are different. And, you know, we know now in our society, when stuff is so heavily influenced by social media and reality TV, we know that, you know, it's not all just about the music. That a lot more goes into that with something like this, on determining who will headline. So I understood a lot of Candy's points, but I also understood how SWV may feel about it. So, you know, as we go along in this review, we'll kind of talk about where they ended up. And then they also mentioned when they were sitting there, they were like, look, we have done tours with TLC and Vogue, and no one has ever treated us the way that Xscape has treated them. And so that's disheartening to hear. It sucks because I don't think that Xscape is necessarily treating them bad. I just think they're being very direct with the business part. And again, I don't think it would have hit as hard if Xscape had a manager if the managers were talking. Because I can see where they're coming from, where Candy's like, well, look, we want more money. And it's like, oof, I'm sure that it hit them a little differently than if Xscape's manager had spoken to their manager. So, it was sad to kind of hear her say, like, look, we've toured with the greats. TLC, I don't think it gets much bigger than that as a female group. And she said TLC didn't treat them that way. So that was kind of sad to hear. I didn't like her talking about that experience. So, all right. So I'm not going to spend much time on this because, to be honest, I love Lily, but I'm not that interested in this Sister Hot Pussy book that she's doing. But her manager comes over and they're talking about the book. What I will say that I am happy to see is that Lily, she's kind of talk about some of the things that she has overcome and how she had to sleep in her car and how, when things fell through with SWV, she didn't really have anything to fall back on and she had to work a second job. So, I would read the book just because Lily is she's so fun, and the book is probably crazy because she was reading some excerpts to her manager and I was like, ooh, that sounds like that might be good. So I am happy to see that she's setting things up to have other streams of income, which is what we all should be doing. In the event, she's not going to sing forever. So then she'll have other businesses and hope she's trying to establish herself as an author. So I am happy to see that she's doing that. But I don't really be interested in the scenes with Lily with this book. It's great and all of that, but we want the drama. Like, Lily, we love you, but girl, like, that good for you, but I was just kind of like, whatever. So Taj and Tamika meet up for brunch. They're going over some ideas creatively for what they want the show to look like. So as we go on in the episode, we're seeing that the individuals that are going to be most creatively involved in the show, like on the stage and, what the visuals look like, is going to be Taj and Tamika. So they meet up for brunch and they're talking about, Tamika's ideas. She's kind of telling, Taj some of her ideas for what she wants or what she thinks would be good for the show. I'm loving Tamika in this new light of expressing herself, in this new light of being a boss, in this new light of stepping from under her sister's shadow and really being more expressive about what she wants, because everyone has kind of stated that in the past she kind of just did what her sister wanted her to do. So I'm loving, I think women, we need to do that. We need to step up, not just women, but anytime you're in a group setting, you have to make sure that you're expressing your ideas and that your ideas are, appreciated and that everyone is able to collaborate. So it's nice to see Tamika doing that. One thing I love to see, and I've noticed, Tamika, you are doing a good job with that branding. Every time Tamika has a scene, like in her house or she's walking, you can see her seasonings. She's making sure she has her shirt and stuff like that. She stepped out the car with, a bag with her seasonings and stuff. So yes, Tamika, I love to see that. So I definitely have noticed that you have made sure your branding for your cookbooks and all of that have been showing. Every time you have a scene, I'm sorry, y'all, that's my oven. I'm cooking chicken, telling me it's hot. But anyways, yeah, so you have made sure that you're showing your branding and everything. So I've been loving to see that, Tamika. You've been doing a good job with that. It's always on camera. She's making sure we see them seasonings. They're probably really good too. I should order some. Okay, so this next part was hilarious. So the girls of SWV are in a hotel room and, they're kind of setting up because Xscape's going to come over and they're going to kind of finish that conversation that they had. Taj, girl, you ain't have no food. You should have put Candy in charge of that. Candy, so as SWV setting up for Xscape to come, and Taj looks like she was in charge of bringing the food. You should have got Candy, because Candy gonna make sure everybody eats. She's gonna have all the chicken wings, all the cheese, all the drink, all of the things to eat, all the snacks, all the little little cucumber sandwiches or whatever. Candy gonna make sure the food's there. Taj, why you ain't had no food? She had like a little platter with like 3 pieces of ham, like enough ham if I was gonna like make a sandwich for myself. Like that's all that was there. And she brought that for 7 people. So I thought that was hilarious. I was like, Taj, ain't nobody gonna eat that. And I think Lily had took like 1 slice and it was just like 2 slices left. So I don't know what Taj was doing, but I thought that was funny. So Coco, when they're in the room and they're getting ready for the girls for Xscape to get there, Coco's like, look, if she tells Taj and Lily, like, if I'm tell you off rip, if we're not co-headlining, like, we might as well just end the meeting. And the girls, they agree, and so it's just gonna be interesting to kind of see what happens when the girls get there. And so the girls start getting there. Tiny gets there, and as soon as the meeting starts, Tamika is just like, you could tell she's excited. She gets up in there and she's like, okay, so this is what we gonna do. What do y'all think about this idea? Do you guys like this idea? And Coco's like, hold up. All of those ideas are great, but what we doing about this headlining? Like, she just literally cut her off and was like, so we co-headlining or not? Because it ain't even no sense of you continuing with your little ideas if we're not gonna co-headline. And so I agree. It's like, Tamika, you kind of came in here and acted like the other night didn't happen. We need to get this business part first. We need to come to some type of agreement before we even start talking about visuals and the stage show and all of that. So Coco puts a stop to that right away. And so, Lily is like, look, everybody, put your difference to the side or whatever. And so here come Latocha with her Grinch looking ass. She talking about we just need to go ahead and co-headline, like almost making an executive decision. And I'm gonna tell y'all why that annoyed me. Not that I don't think that it's a good idea, but nothing's worse than like when you've been, working on stuff and you keep trying to get somebody involved and you keep trying to get somebody involved and they keep kicking you away and pushing you away and saying, I'm busy and I'm doing something. And then when there's an important decision to be made, they want to be the one to take control, make the decision. It's like, well, where have you been at? Where have you been? We have been trying to get you to be, more vocal and state your opinions. And now you just want to make an executive decision. Like Candy said, like you're coming to the rescue to save the day and pull the groups together when you really been pulling them apart. So I think I'm sure that annoyed everybody else in Xscape, but that definitely annoyed me because Tasha, you've been nothing short of difficult, and then to just see you come in and just try to like verbalize and make a decision when you didn't say anything before, you haven't said anything, is just like, it was just annoying. It was just annoying. So one thing that Candy did say that I thought was interesting is Candy, there's like a running theme where she's always the bad guy. She's like, I always look like the bad guy, but my group members, we be talking about this stuff before we come to a consensus and before we bring it to you guys. And it was clear, and we've seen, Tiny say it in her confessionals, that Tiny and Tamika agreed with her, but I feel bad. I think Candy needs to step aside and let some of them do the dirty work because people go so hard on Candy, but when she's just pretty much representing what the group thinks. But I think, Candy has said, like, I don't mind being the bad guy, like, because if nobody's going to speak up, and Candy's a businesswoman. So she's like, look, if you don't advocate for yourself, then nobody else is. If no one's going to say it, I don't care, because I think that Candy has mastered being able to separate the personal from the business, right? Like she's able to, take out the emotion, even though she's emotional. Candy, you be crying. Outside of that, I think that it's easy for you to not take things so personal when you're talking about the business stuff. Like whatever they're saying about you, it's like whatever you say I can't sing, whatever, let's still get down to the business. So I admire that about Candy, but I also feel bad because it seems like she ends up being the bad guy all the time. Like every time, she's always the one to speak out and say what everybody else is thinking. And sometimes that can be frustrating. So the girls, they all decide that they want to, like, okay, we're going to co-headline, right? And then Tamika, she gets back to, she has some good ideas. Some of them are a little crazy. She's talking about bringing a horse. It's like, girl, you're doing a little too much with that. But she has some really, really good ideas. And, and even Lily, they're like, oh, okay, I like that idea. Coco, oh, yeah, I like that. Everybody is kind of going around. They're really liking the ideas that Tamika's bringing. And then they pan to Tasha. She like, Tasha, you're a hater. You are such a hater. You are the manifestation of a person who wants all the credit. They want all the accolades. They want everything. They want it to be about them. And they don't, and it's like, you want like a monopoly on the ideas, and you want it to just be you and no one else can add their input. And it's like, that's your sister. You've seen the different struggles, the self-esteem things, and not feeling loved by your mom. You should be proud of her for stepping out and really wanting to be involved on this level. And you're hating. And how you gonna be mad and you haven't been there? I've never seen anything like this in my life. Someone who doesn't want to be involved, don't answer the phone, don't come to meetings, don't come to rehearsals. But then you have the nerve to be mad with ideas. Why would they come to you and even ask you about creative ideas when they don't even know if you're going to show up half the time? So, she's the only person that's in the meeting with the attitude. And it's like, I'm just tired of it. Like, I'm tired of looking at you with an attitude. Are you tired of having an attitude? Like, because I'm tired of looking at you. There's nothing godly about you, like nothing. I cannot wait to see how this whole solo gospel career goes, because you are the opposite, the antithesis of being godly and loving and kind and caring and all the things that God wants us to be as human beings. You display the total opposite. I don't know how you are. You might be a great mother. That's fine. We don't see that. We don't know that. All we know is what you're showing us. I hope that you're happy. I hope that this is worth it, because I think your gospel album gonna go triple copper. I just think it's not gonna do very well, because you are a representation of your music and who you are. We have to like you. It's that congeniality factor that you don't have. And if I don't like you, I'm not supporting your music. I'm sorry. I might, dance a little bit if it come on the radio, but I'm not going to stream it. I'm not going to buy the album. So so she's a hater. And so they go to Candy and she's in her confessional. She's just like cracking up. And I think that Candy is usually not petty, but I do think she's getting a little enjoyment of seeing, like, because she knows that Latocha is just like really bothered by all this. So she, she's just like, Tasha is so upset. Like she was saying that in her confessional, she's so mad about the fact that her sister is coming out of herself and being more creative. So, but Candy is, she's definitely, you can tell she's getting a little kick out of seeing that. I don't blame her, because it seems Tasha has tortured this woman. She blames her for everything, and it's like, girl, get good. Get the game. Get game from Candy. Stop hating. Let me run up on Candy. I'm gonna pick her brain and talk to her and absorb all the knowledge so that I can, better myself and enhance my businesses. So, Tasha, you'll never do it because you just don't see it for Candy. And like when you have jealousy in your heart like that for someone, it's just, you're never gonna let it go, unfortunately. So then on the next scene, Candy, Coco, and Tasha, they meet in the studio. So obviously when it comes to Xscape, Candy and Tasha are the people who kind of always do the music, the run of show when it comes to the music. They put the set list together, they pick the songs, the order, how long the songs are, how long they perform them, etc. So they do that for Xscape. And then obviously Coco, which she should be because it's her voice, she does that on behalf of SWV. So when they're in the studio, Candy's there, Coco comes, great energy. Candy's like, okay, I put a list of songs for SWV, look these over. What do you think? What order? Da 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 da. So, Coco jumps right in there, and, she's, conversing with Candy, and they're talking about, how they think the show should go. And it's like, Tasha comes in, of course, the energy lowers. But have y'all noticed that Tasha's nicer to SWV than she is to Xscape? Like when she comes in, she's like, hey, Coco, hey, girl. And then she looks at Candy and is like, and it's just, she always does that. Like I want to say I've seen a scene where like Tasha hugged SWV and then like shaded Xscape. And it's just like, girl, ooh, I hope they kick you out the group. But anyway. So Tasha's there, and so Candy and Coco were kind of already going over the list of the songs, and so Candy's like, okay, so what you think about this, Tasha? And she's just like, I don't know. And then Candy's like, okay, well, what do you think about this? And she's like, I don't know, I have to pray about that. It's like, girl, pray about it. This girl said I have to pray about it when she said, what do you think about the order of the songs? And then even Coco was just like, okay, yeah, girl, like, what do you think about this? And she's just like, I don't know. I really haven't even put much thought into it. It's like, bitch, you haven't put much thought into it, and we're planning the whole premise of this show is that at the end of it, the grand finale is going to be that they do a show together, and she talking about she hasn't put much thought into it. I would have no patience for Tasha. I wouldn't have no patience. And I know Candy has said on her speak on it that production and the filming crew, whatever, the editors are like not including a lot of the different conversations that are going on. But that scene, even that pushed me, because I was just like, I hate when people come to a location or they come to meet up with someone and their intention is to be difficult. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know it's different when you meet up and then things just don't go the way that you want them to go, and whatever, conversations sometimes go left. But you came there to intentionally be difficult with everybody. Like, why? You might as well just not come. You ain't been coming to half the stuff, so you might as well just call Candy and Coco and said, y'all just do it. I don't have the time. I would have rather you did that than come there and act like that. Why do that? I mean, I just cannot get over the fact that this woman has a whole gospel album that she's trying to put out, and she's acting this way. Like, I just never seen anything like this in my life. You had a nerve to do gospel. I'm turning into a broken record. So whatever. So yeah, so each time, they ask her opinion, she's like, I don't know, and I need to pray about it. And then Coco's so funny. She's like, I feel like I'm in a bad date between like the tension between Tasha and Candy is like thick. She was like, I feel like I'm in a bad date that I need to be removed from. Like, cause you can just, it's embarrassing. If I was Candy, I would be embarrassed. Like, girl, I hate being embarrassed about stuff like that. Like, just because we have internal beef, like, why you gotta act a fool in front of company? You know what I'm saying? Like, SWV, although they're no strangers to any of this kind of stuff, it's like, girl, can you at least fake it in front of Coco so we can get through this? If you want to beef with me when she's not here, fine, but why are you acting like this while she's here? Like, if I was Candy, I would have probably tried to pull her to the side, like, can you please stop acting up in front of company? Why are you doing that? Like, I hate stuff like that. That would really frustrate me. So that was just kind of funny to see. To Coco, like, she was just like, not only does she notice that Tasha's being difficult, like, she notices the tension, and she's just like, girl, like, can you remove me, please? Because I don't want to be involved in this. So, okay. So, Taj and Tamika, they meet up again. And this time they meet up, at like, look like a church, I think. They met up with the creative director, that's going to be the creative director of the show, Steven. And, they're kind of, he's looks like he's created like a preliminary visual of what the show may look like. And it looked nice. Like, and Tamika want them horses, child. She wants them horses, and he was like, "Madam, the horses, we're not doing the horses." Like, so, and it's funny because I think both groups have had videos when they were on horses, so I thought that was cool. But girl, horses in a concert, like, stop it. Stop, Tamika. Like, so it seems like she's finally realizing that the horses are not happening. But it was just nice again, you know, they kind of went over like the creative direction, and it was cool to kind of see how the visuals that Tamika kind of proposed, how he was bringing them to life. So I thought that was really, really cool. So Candy meets up for lunch with Don Juan. And am I the only one that loves Don Juan? He's so like shady. He be saying all the things that we all be thinking, but he says it. So I always enjoy when Candy, she gets that one-on-one time with Don Juan, and Don Juan is the manager of like all of her different businesses. So she's meeting with him for lunch, and she's kind of like catching him up on all of the things that have been happening with the girls. And so he was just telling him, like, she was telling him, like, Tasha is difficult. Like, every step of the way, this lady is just giving us a hard time. She doesn't show up. She has a bad attitude. And so I like what Don Juan, you know, I like what he said. He basically was like, why do you guys continue to make her a priority and she's making you guys an option? And that's something in life. That's even something that I've struggled with. You know, when someone is showing you their ass continuously, they're continuing to, you know, not show up for things and not show up for you in as a person in business or whatever, you got to retreat and pull back and say, okay, regardless of us being in a group together, this person is not prioritizing Xscape. And so he was telling her, like, look, that's what she's doing. You guys need to come up with another plan because she's not seeing it for y'all. And he also made a good point, which is what he said. He was like, you know, she sure seems very confident because she is stepping into the realm of being a gospel artist. That's a lot different than R&B. And we all keep coming back to the underlying point that when there's a certain level of couth, there's a certain level of just ethics and morals that come with being a gospel artist that I don't believe that, Tasha, you encompass. I don't believe that you have what it takes. We know you got the voice, your voice, and that's the sad part because you sound beautiful and you probably could be a great gospel artist, but we don't like you and you're evil. I mean, you're evil. Like, who cracks jokes about the voice of someone else in their group and like makes fun of them on a video and drops that before their album drops? Who does that? And they're trying to be a gospel artist. So, you know, Don Juan, he touched upon that. He was just saying, you know, she thinks it's all sweet, but she's stepping into this gospel world and she doesn't know what's going to happen. So, Tosh, you have to make this work because from the looks of things, these girls are not fooling with you no more. Like, there's a lot of things, and all the stuff that's happened last week, you can hang it up. Candy Art said, I don't want to sing with you anymore. So, you say what you want about Candy's voice, but the three of y'all without Candy, we definitely don't want to see that. So, yeah, it's pretty sad. I don't know what else to say about that. I mean, we have beat a dead horse when we continue to talk about how Tasha is just disappointing in the person that she is showing herself to be and then wanting to be a gospel artist. It's like the math's not mathing, and it's not going to work out well for you, you know, in the long run. That's my thoughts. And so Coco and her son meet up with Taj and they're like going shopping or whatever. And Coco, you know, tells Taj, like, this little boy really wants to quit dental school. And so, you know, I love what Taj told him. Taj said, look, music's gonna always be there. And, you know, and I have a daughter, I would say the same thing to my daughter. Look, the music business is up and down. People like you one day, then they don't. I hope he finishes dental school. I really do. It doesn't look like it because from what I'm seeing on social media, it's looking like he's getting deeper and deeper into this singing thing. But, Taj is just telling him, like, you can do both, which I believe he should have finished dental school and did that. That way, he could even finish dental school and get a dental practice underway while he's pursuing music and put other people in place, hygienists, etc., in there. And then he could have started doing his music thing. Like, he really should have finished out his dental schooling so that he could, get his degree in that. But I mean, and then he keeps saying that he doesn't want to do it anymore. I don't think that that's what it is. I mean, if you genuinely hate it now, okay, but I don't believe after 1 year you fully have experienced everything that you need to experience to know if you really don't want to follow through with the dental program. Those are my thoughts. But, Taj was giving him good advice. You can do both, but he's 19, I think, and he's probably not going to listen. So, that's unfortunate, but I do love what the advice that she gave him. Okay. So Xscape meets up because they have a show that outside of what they're doing with SWV, they have a show in Orlando in like 2 or 3 days. So they meet up because they said they haven't rehearsed in a while. And, they're rehearsing. They sound really, really good. They sounded good, and Candy sounded good. Again, Candy has her moments where she sounds... somebody said she sounds like a billy goat, which made me cackle. I don't think she sounds like a billy goat, but the reference made me cackle. But, they're rehearsing, and once again, Latocha doesn't come to the rehearsal. So, they're getting through the rehearsal. So at first, Candy's like, Tamika, is your sister coming? And Tamika's like, I don't know. So they're rehearsing, and they look like they get, either halfway done with the rehearsal or majority of the rehearsals done. And then Candy's like, so your sister's really not going to come to the rehearsal? And Tamika was like, she ain't coming, man. And so they're pissed. They're just like, this girl, so you could tell Candy was pissed. And so she's like, dog, we cannot continue to allow this. Like, there has to be a point where we have to put a stop to it. You cannot be in this group and you're not fulfilling any of your commitments. You're not showing up. When you show up, you have an attitude. You're not bringing ideas. When we are asking for your ideas and perspective, you're refusing to give it. You go on the side, you're plotting and planning this whole solo thing. And meanwhile, I don't know if the timing was, you don't know how editing works, but they pan to Latocha, and she's sitting at the table with Rocky, and they're like going over her contract for her solo deal before she signs it. And editing made it appear that that's what she was doing while they were rehearsing. We don't know if that's true or not. Either way, she was not there. She was, more concerned with making sure she signed her contract, and she didn't come to rehearsals. And so the girls are talking, and Candy was like, look, we got to keep this moving. And we have to prepare because she said she wasn't coming to sound check. So Candy's like, you're not gonna come to rehearsal or sound check, you just gonna show up for the performance? And then Candy's like, where they do that at? Like, we can't allow this. And she's like, she's making us look like she's Gladys Knight and we the Pips. Like, you have making us look crazy. And Candy's just like, I'm tired of it. And so they're kind of like talking on a resolution for what they should do moving forward. That's Tasha, you so trifling. You gonna really just not show up for rehearsal, for sound check, nothing? I can't wait to see if she really shows up for the performance. I don't know, I feel like this may have played out in the blogs. I want to say in the blogs, is obviously this was last year. I feel like she didn't show up. I mean, we're gonna see, but child, I hope they I want her to be kicked out of the group. I am so not a fan of Latocha. I can't even, I don't know how to express that anymore. Like, I am not feeling her at all. So yeah, so the show goes off and yeah, it goes off with where's Waldo? Where's Latocha? Nobody knows. So I am excited about next week's episode because we saw in the preview that they're having discussions on, I guess, how the song flow will go for the actual performance. And then it looks like Candy wants like 2 Xscape songs to, they want 2 Xscape songs to go first in the performance, and then SWV, which Candy, you're tripping on that one. Okay, I was with you a little bit with the co-headlining thing, but you can't have 2, you can't start the show off with 2 Xscape songs and then SWV. I love you, Candy, but I think you're doing a little much with that. So I guess, you know, I won't jump ahead. We'll see how that all plays out. But that's what we saw for the preview for next week's episode. So that is it for this week. Thank you guys for coming and spending time with me and listening to my review of episode 4. And I hope you all have a great week, and make sure you guys come back for episode 5. My episode 5 review may be a little late because I'm going to the Dreamville Fest festival this weekend. So I'll be out of town, and I'm hoping that I'll either see, well, I won't see the episode 5 on Sunday, but I will, I don't know when I'll see it Monday. So my review for episode 5 will either come out late Monday or Tuesday morning. So anyway, thank you guys for spending time with me, and have a great week, and I'll see you guys all next week. Bye-bye.